して、私の名前はアイリッシュです。私は16歳です。私の夢は先生になることです。Hi everyone, my name is Irish. I am 16 years old and my ambition is to be a teacher. My hobbies are reading books and watch movies. The person that I look up to is Ibn Khaldun because of his contribution to the philosophy of history. Ibn Khaldun is also known for his introduction to the concept of asabiya, which refers to group solidarity. That is a crucial factor in the rise and fall of dynasties. So today, I will talk about a book titled Country of Ash by REICHER. It is a memoir that tells the history of a Jewish man's life in Poland during the years 1939 to 1945. A time marked by the horror of World War II and the Holocaust. The book has 253 pages and was published by Bellevue Literary Press, New York. The Dewey Decimal Code is 949.5, which places it in the History section related to Poland and biographies. I was attracted to read this book because recently I accidentally watched a movie called A Boy in the Street Pajamas, which was written and directed by MOHAMMAD. It was based on the 2006 novel of the same name by John Boyce. Set in Nazi-occupied Poland, the film follows the story of a son of a civil officer who befriend with a Jewish prisoners of his age. The movie has opened my eyes to the history of cruelty of Holocaust, and I felt the eagerness to learn more. Hence, why I chose this book as the continuation of understanding the history of Holocaust better. It reveals what really happened during the war from a personal perspective. It also provides a raw and honest account of survival, fear, and resilience under the Nazi regime. To begin with, Edward REICHER was a skilled dermatologist and had to work in terrible places like Watch and Warsaw ghettos. He disguised as a German to escape from being a prisoner. In the ghettos, people were scared, starving, and often killed. Edward had to treat both Jewish and sometimes even German soldiers. This story tells us how terrifying and gut-wrenching it was to disguise ourselves as the preparator just to save our life and family. Later, Edward and his family escaped the ghettos. They had to hide on the Aryan side of Warsaw for almost 3 years. They even used fake names and moved from place to place to avoid being caught. Therefore, I really like the page 137 because it shows how he helps people even though his life is in danger. He takes a great risk by smuggling medicine to help fellow Jews. Despite the constant threat of Nazi soldiers, he chooses to act bravery rather than stay silent. As a result, I as a student are more aware of the country, are more aware of the cruelty of war, and can gain a clearer understanding of World War II, especially the suffering Jews through the eyes of a real survivor. I now have become aware of the true meaning of independence and became much more appreciative to what the leaders of my country had done to free the country from the colonizer. I couldn't imagine if I were one of the Jewish prisoners and were meant to be killed rather than live my own life. I also have developed a deeper sense of empathy and learned the importance of staying human, even in the face of cruelty and fear. In a place where everybody is for themselves, Edward REICHER is an honorable man to help people while he was in the same situation. The moral of the story is human dignity, courage, and compassion can survive even in the darkest and the most dangerous time. The story reminds us that even when the world is full of cruelty and fear, small acts of kindness and bravery can make a big difference. It also teaches us that truth and memory are powerful. By telling his story, Edward REICHER helps the world understand what really happened, so that such horror are never forgotten or repeated. This reminds me of the idiom, the other side of coin, which refers to having different perspectives of the same situation. I highly recommend this book to anyone who is interested in history, especially World War II and the Holocaust, because it offers a powerful and a personal insight into one of the darkest chapters in human history. Nowadays, people are talking and joking about the possibility of World War III happening as the feud Iran, Israel, and US has started. In my opinion, if people read and have a deep understanding of how haunting and terrifying war is, they would not have hope for a war to happen. Hence, as the famous philosopher Francis Bacon said, reading maketh a full man. Reading helps us grow, not in knowledge, but in empathy, wisdom, especially wisdom and understanding. I end my speech by encouraging all people, especially the youngster, to read such books to gain more knowledge. Thank you.